But we start with Carson Wentz. Back in 2017, looked like an MVP. Probably going to win the MVP. Then he got hurt, blew out his knee against the Rams. The Eagles awarded Wentz with a 4-year, $128 million extension. Wentz hasn't been the same since then. And I did think when the Eagles shipped Wentz to the Colts last year, he was going to perform well. I thought, you got a good offensive line, you got a really good running back, you got some weapons, and you got Frank Reich, who was there with him in Philadelphia, a supportive fan base that would probably lean towards giving you a second chance or so. Now, he's on the move again. Colts traded him to Washington yesterday, and I was wondering who, like when you start to think about this, if Washington called me and I'm the Colts GM, Chris Ballard, now I'm going, okay, they're calling. They're probably going to say you got to pay his salary, and then we'll take him off your hands, and we'll give you a couple of fifth-round draft picks. We got the Washington Commanders on line one, Chris. Hi, how are you? Hey, you know what I'm thinking? Maybe we give you a couple of fourth-round picks, and we'll take Carson Wentz off your hands. Well, wait a minute. What about his salary? Oh, yeah, we'll pay his salary. Hold on a second. They're going to pay his salary and give us draft picks? Okay, play it cool. Drag it out a little bit. Okay, we'll take it. Well, yes, we'll take it.
Is this a crank call?
Yes. I think Martin Mayhew is the GM of the Washington Commanders.
For now.
I don't know who the Commanders were bidding against.
Common sense?
I guess you could say Washington isn't risking a lot because Wentz isn't due any guaranteed money after this year. So it makes it easy for them to move on from him. I never understood that. We'll take you for a year and then we can move on from you. Like, I don't know if you go into any kind of relationship that way. Hey, you know what? I'll date you for a little while, but, I can move on. Is he that much better than Taylor Heineke? That's what it comes down to. Now, I don't have to give up draft picks, and Taylor Heineke is going to be cheaper. Now, I looked at Taylor Heineke's numbers. They went 7-8 with him as the quarterback. He threw for 3,400 yards, 20 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Okay. We're used to Washington not having good quarterbacks there. And do I want Carson Wentz for 1 year where I got to pay that kind of money, give up some draft picks? Now, I was told yesterday, don't rule out Washington still taking a quarterback in the first round. And I thought, okay, why not just take a quarterback? You're not winning anything next year. Dallas is better than you. Philly is better than you. Giants may get it right sometime soon. Maybe. But when you consider that Carson Wentz's contract, Washington's history under center, I guess there's worse options than getting Carson Wentz. At least there is potential there, that there's at least a little bit of a track record where he has played well. I just don't think mentally he's come back from when he got hurt. And look, he didn't have a good reputation off the field. Not at all in Philadelphia, even in Indianapolis. And now this is what happens. When you leave a place, like you have the Seahawks players, now they're talking about Russ. I think Russell Wilson seemed to check out last year. He's Hollywood. Like, okay, this is what happens. Once you're out the door, then it's okay. It's open season. You can start talking about your former teammate. But Carson Wentz, I think Carson Wentz has to be able to read the room a little bit better than he has. I think he has to understand sort of where he stands, what his role is. He's got to mature. And it helps that you play well. I mean, Kyler Murray might be immature, but he played pretty well. Carson Wentz has to play well, and he has to mature in that position because this might be it. Usually as a top quarterback and then you wash out, you get another chance. But at age 29, you start to look at this and say, this is his last chance to be a starting quarterback, it feels like, in the NFL. Mitchell Trubisky is going to get a chance probably to play maybe in Indianapolis or maybe with the Giants. Jameis Winston got his chance in New Orleans. Marcus Mariota still waiting for his next chance. But that's what happens. You get that second chance, And because you think, all right, he showed potential. Jameis Winston showed potential. Trubisky showed potential. Mariota showed potential. And that's what they're basing this off of. But Carson Wentz was going to be the MVP in the year they won the Super Bowl. And then he got hurt, and then they win it with Nick Foles. And he's never been the same. And mentally, what that does to you. Physically, it's one thing to come back from a knee injury. And if you've ever had one, when you plant, when you see people around you, you may start seeing, as quarterbacks will say, you start to see, the pocket's dirty, you start to see ghosts. And he just never looked like he was comfortable there. And he threw for, I think, 22 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, or 27 and 7. And so I start to look at that and I go, okay. And then you realize that I think in 8 games he threw for less than 200 yards. I got a great running back, but it's almost impossible to be a starting quarterback and throw for less than 200 yards in 8 games, even during a 17-game season. But the Colts have traded him, and if I'm the Colts, usually you make a trade because you have an idea what you're going to do. It's like Seattle. They traded Russell Wilson. By the way, Washington offered 3 first-round picks for Russell Wilson. Russ did not want to go to Washington. That's how desperate Carson Wentz is. It's like, somebody wants me? Okay, I'll play for him. And Washington, it felt like this is a desperate move. Is he that much better than Taylor Heineke? I guess so. I just don't want to pay $28 million and a couple draft picks for a guy that I think is just a little bit better than Taylor Heineke. Hell, I'd take Ryan Fitzpatrick, whatever age he is. And he got hurt last year. He would have been the starting quarterback. So, I mean, this is how it happens in the NFL. This is quick. Remember Calvin Ridley's story? That's right. That was Monday. Here we are. It's Thursday. Oh, that's right, man. We were talking about gambling, and then what happened? Aaron Rodgers, and then Russell Wilson, and now Carson Wentz. And then the next domino is going to be probably Jimmy Garoppolo. And then you're going to have Kyler Murray. And then you have Deshaun Watson's case. It's in front of the grand jury today. Are they going to have a trial? And if not, does this get rectified quickly? Kyler Murray wants a new deal before the draft. Jimmy Garoppolo had off-season shoulder surgery. Could he end up in Indianapolis? Could he end up in Pittsburgh? It's the NFL's version of the transfer portal here. And it is fast and it is furious. And you got to get your quarterback. And Washington said, all right, I just don't know who they were bidding against. Because I would have said, hey, we'll give you a couple of draft picks here. How about we split his salary? Or we'll take we'll pay the salary. We don't have to give you any draft picks. I would have done that. I would have said, wait, what? Yes. It's like the Rams. They didn't need to take Jared Goff, or the Lions didn't need to take Jared Goff. The Rams said, we need you to take Jared Goff. It's not like the Lions go, and you got to throw in Jared Goff. It was like the Rams said, and part of the deal, you have to take Jared Goff. It just feels like I would have said, hey, couple of draft picks, and, you guys split the salary here. I would have been happy just to send him, and you said, hey, we'll pay his salary. You don't have to give me any draft picks here. All right, 877-3DP Show. Email address dp@danpatrick.com. Twitter handle at DP Show. And you go back to April 2016. Carson Wentz traded by the Browns as, the rights to get him. So, that was the second overall pick. There was a fourth-round pick in there as well, and went to the Eagles. So, I mean, everybody loves trading for Carson Wentz. And then March of 2021, traded by the Eagles to the Colts for a third-round pick, and then a first-round pick this year's draft. And now traded by the Colts with a 2022 second-round pick, and you get conditional picks here with what's going on with the Washington Commanders. Yeah, Paul.
Yeah, in Carson Wentz's career, 3 first-round draft picks have been given up from 2 seconds, 3 thirds, and a fourth, and he's made $100 million.
And we still don't know how good he is. He does have a Super Bowl ring of sorts.